Hi everybody, this is Melinda Hart with Stamping with Heart, where we just do fun and crafty things. And today I wanted to show you a fun technique with our timeless label punch. This is what the punch looks like, and I'll be showing you how this works. This is a Halloween project technique we're going to be working with today. I thought it would be fun to play with this. We're going to be making tombstones with it, actually. So let me just show you a few that I cut out. We're going to be getting a little bit more into it today, but this is basic gray, where I just basically punched some out, put RIP on them. I stamped it, but you could write it. And we're going to go through that. They're different sizes. One's actually cut off, so if you would want to do crooked, tombstones down off to the side. We're going to actually put these tombstones on a treat box today, which I'll show you, but we're going to experiment with Gray Granite today instead of basic gray. And I'm going to show you some different coloring options with the timeless label punch. So let me just move my holiday catalog out of the way. I just filmed another video, but this one is actually coming from the annual catalog. So you can find the timeless label punch in the annual catalog. This is the, let me see, 2019 to 2020, June 4th to June 2nd catalog. So let me just go, I'm going to go into the back because I don't remember exactly where it is. Punches 186 to 188. Don't mind my markings. Okay, so you can find the timeless label punch on page 187 in the annual catalog. It is item number 149516. It's $18. And now we can get to the technique. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of show you the different ways that you could either color these or punch these out. Let me grab a piece of Gray Granite paper too while I'm at this here. It's funny, I gotta make sure I have. I might have used it all. Uh-oh. Maybe I've used up my Gray Granite. I'm going to have to order more. Well, lesson learned. For now, we can use the lighter gray, not basic gray. I think it's Smoky Slate. Let me look and see what that color is. I'll get back to you on that in a minute. But you can do this a couple of different ways, is basically how this would work. So let me see. All right, so you can either just punch. I'm turning it onto the underside, but you would actually, this is the right side up. I just want you to see it for the sake of being on camera. A punch literally just punches out the paper. So let me just do that one more time. This is where you feed your paper into the punch, just like that. Okay, I'm going to keep going off to the side because I'm just using the edge of the paper here. But you just feed it in. So feed and punch. Okay, and then you could also do it this way. So if you're on the edge of a piece of paper, if you have scrap paper left and you want to punch these out, but you don't want to punch the whole sheet, you could do these in a variety of sizes, which is cool. So we'll just do a tall one, a medium one, and we'll do like a short squat one. Okay. So in this instance, you can either add some color to these if you would want to. You could either handwrite on whatever you would want your saying to be on your tombstone. Some people do like to kind of do some inking right over their colors to make it look a little bit aged and everything. We'll experiment with that. but I also want to show you what it would look like if, let's just say you had punched out. A lot of people will do these in advance. I am one of those people. So this is the white, and you actually want to color the white. We're going to do those today too. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of whole ones, and we'll do a couple halves where you just kind of go in. I'm just going to fold that up. And we're just going to do a couple of different heights. And that's always fun for your project too. Okay, so we're going to color these. And we're going to do a couple of different ways that we're going to color these. And like I said, I had originally picked Gray Granite. So I'm going to go with that just for the sake of the video. But some examples that we're going to use today are the Stampin Write marker in Gray Granite, which it has a very fine tip, and it also has more of the art tip, the word like the filler tip. I have to find out what the technical word for that is. We are going to do the Gray Granite in the Stampin Blends. This is the alcohol marker. This is not, I believe this is water-based. I'll find out for sure, but bear with me on that. But these are definitely the alcohol markers. And then we're actually going to do some shading with ink today. So we're going to take the basic Gray Ink Pad, and we're going to take our little sponge dauber, and we're going to color the Gray Granite that way, just so that you can kind of see the different colors and the different ways that you can create your tombstones. You can do them at the most basic level, and the easiest, the simplest is to just use the actual color. And again, I don't believe that that is the Gray Granite color. So I really should have checked that before I started this video, right? But that's the way that goes. Okay, so let's do some coloring. I'm just going to be coloring on top of another piece of white paper. I have a lot of coloring to do, so I usually will have a mat down, but I don't today. So we're just going to use a white piece of paper, but whatever you would use just to keep your surfaces safe, so that your markers or your ink or whatever don't stain whatever is underneath. You basically just want to have a little protector there. So I'm actually going to start with the Stampin Write marker, and I'm going to do the tip side. I'm just going to hold it down. And of course, you could color before you actually punch it out. That would probably be easier too, but it's okay. I'm just going to go right over this. And this is a fun way to kind of see what you like. They're all good for different things. They all have their purposes and their functions, but especially for Halloween, you can make so many different things, and you can make so many mistakes, and it doesn't really matter because it's Halloween. It's supposed to be messed up and not perfect. So that is, I'll just write the Stampin Write. And let me just make sure you guys can see this on the viewfinder. I hope that this is not blown out. Okay. And the next one is going to be the Stampin Blunt. So Stampin Blends have a light and a dark. You can either buy one or the other, or you could buy a combo of the two. And I'm going to be using both, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one in light, I'm going to do one in dark, and I'm going to do one with both. So we'll do the light first. And I'm going to use the larger tip for this. I love, love, love Stampin' Blends. Okay, so we'll say blend, light. And let's do one in dark. So if you happen to have a bunch of these and you just want to snip it right in half, you can do that. They don't have to be straight edged on the bottom. You can totally play around and experiment with that. If you have any kind of a die that has any kind of like foliage, grass, wiggle worm is one that's coming to mind, or you're going to do grass like with your tombstones or something, certainly if you're going to be layering it, you don't have to worry about that. I'll show you what we're going to do with ours, but first let me take dark gray granite. I'm going to do the wide side, and let's color this one. Okay, and I'm going to go this way too. Okay, so there's dark. Blend. Let me listen. I'm not showing you guys a good example here. Use the the nib tip if you're going to write. So we'll just say blend dark. And now we're going to do one that has both. So I'm going to start with the light. All right, those take almost no time to dry. Now I'm going to add a little bit of dark. So where am I going to put the dark? How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to edge it. And this will just give it some aging just around the edges. You can do, you know, some streaks through there if you'd want. I'm actually going to get there on the edge there. Okay. So we're just taking our dark, just like that. Okay. So this is both. Which one should I write with? Both. And now we're going to take our ink pad. So this is the Gray Granite ink pad. The Stampin' Up! Has the coolest ink pads. This system of where you open your ink pad and you just slide it back. You can identify your color by the inside, and you also have a label like right on the top of your stamp. I'll be talking more about this in a different video about the inks, but I just think that that is so cool. These are very well inked, so a little bit goes a long way. But I am just going to take my sponge dauber, which goes right on your finger. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to get some ink. So what does that look like? It looks like this. And that's on the lighter side. This is darker, and then it fades out. So the concept of using this is that we're going to take our sponge dauber and we're going to ink this just by going right in there. And then I usually will just get a little bit of the ink off before I go in and shade it. You could do this as light or as dark as you want, just like the others. I'm going to do 1/2 darker and 1/2 lighter. A little more ink on one than the other. Can you guys see me daubing? I wonder if I have that all in the shot. I hope so. I'm having a hard time seeing my screen. I have it hooked up to my Archon mount and I can't see my viewer. Okay. So we have this side and we have this side. There's another thing that you can do with whenever you're working with your sponge dauber. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. And then we're just going to cut it in half. So we'll cut this in half. All right. So you can see all of the differences in the way that you color your little tombstones, but it's so quick and easy to do. And like I said, you can, this is a darker color, so this is basic gray. They have like a writing tip, a Stampin Write. You can actually use these for journaling and whatnot. So you could actually just handwrite your RIP right onto one if you would want to, or you can actually stamp whatever it is that you want to say. I used on these that have the basic gray. Let me see if you can see that. Sorry, you guys. Still getting used to it. Okay, so that is stamped on. That's actually from this set. That's from the Make a Difference stamp set. Do you have to do this? No. I mean, you can really make this look however you want. You can leave tombstones without anything written on it at all. But this is a very cool set for something like this because it has these small letters. They're very clear to read. But you also have the numbers, and you have the numbers in the two different scripts. And that's so cool. So if you would want to say, you know, from 1901 to 1950, you could do that. You have the option to do that. You could do the dash. You could do, you could make these as custom or as simple as you want. For me, I really just did simple to start. But let me just get my block. And you can make the letters crooked. You could make them right, you know, all lined up perfectly, however you would want to do it. These are called Photopolymer Stamps. I'm just going to grab a couple of these. Okay, and we're going to do our, these are tiny, tiny. P. Okay. And that one's a little far, so let me just get these. I'm going to bunch these a little closer together. And then I'm just going to check on the other side the way that that looks. It looks okay. So I'll take my Memento black ink and we'll just do, I'll leave a couple with nothing on it, and I'll do some that have the RIP. Okay. And then the next thing that we would do is put it on our project. So this is the tree box that we're going to be decorating today with our little tombstones. This is, I believe it's Perfect Parcel, which is also in the annual catalog. And I'll list all of the information in the details section of this video. But this is how it opens. So they just pop open from the side. You can make this with whatever color paper you would want. This is the Whisper White. And let's see. So we're going to decorate the side, and we're going to use two different things to do it. So you could either just use your tombstones, just like this, or do, you know, as many or as little as you would want, or you could do them, you know, you can stack them. You could do them three-dimensionally if you would want. I think I'm going to do two. And I'm going to add a gate. So this is from, I did bring this in here, stained glass. So this is the stained glass. So we're just gonna put it just like this. You could even do it over the top if you would want it on the outside, just depending on where you are. I think it looks cooler on the inside. So let's do, just stamp that. I'm going to take some of my, this is our Snail Adhesive. So this has a little enclosure thing that you would just pull down. It locks right into place under here. And then we just run it. Okay, now because this is so thin, I'm actually going to use our fine tip glue pen for this. Let me just show you what they mean by that. It is truly very thin. I've just used this recently for the first time, and I'm hoping that I did not clog this, but they have a very fine tip here, and then they have a like a declogger in the cap itself that you can use to make sure that this is clear, and it goes in there when you put it away. So I think we're good. Let me just test it. Yeah, we're fine. So I'm just going to take the fine glue tip and I'm going to put some glue on some of the bigger spots here. It's dinner time. While I'm filming this, I've made a roast and I just heard Patrick come in. And it's time for dinner. My mom's here watching my son, and it's time to eat. So as soon as I finish up this video, we're gonna go eat some pot roast. Okay, so you could definitely put this in more places. For the sake of this video and the fact that this is a sample, I'm gonna stop here. But let me just get this on here. And let me just do it right from the edge. Okay. Okay. And just to finish off the treat box, I'm just going to cut these off, and you can actually flip it over to the other side to cut it if that's easier to see. So we're just going to take our little extra off right there. Same thing with this side. With this glue, it takes a minute to dry, so if you would want to set maybe a block down on there or something to help the glue on its way, you could. Okay. And then just to finish it, we have in the holiday catalog, these are 3-dimensional stickers, and I thought it would be fun to stick a crow on here. So I'm just going to grab a crow, and they already have adhesive on them, and I'm just going to prop him right on the one tombstone. And there you go. So we have our little timeless punch tombstones. Super cute treat box. You can use these tombstones on so many different things. I'll have different project ideas and pictures I'll be posting with this, but I just thought I would share that tip with you today. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this project. Thank you so much. If you do like this, these techniques and projects, like my video, I would really appreciate that. That will help me understand what you guys like seeing. I can definitely show you some fun stuff with other punches. And then also, if you would subscribe to my channel, I would also greatly appreciate that if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you very much. Have a great day.